Hello, I'm Parker McNeely. This is my presentation on nuclear energy. It is an evaluation of sources. This first source is an internet article that analyzes many potential and current uses for nuclear energy. The authors also use their lecture notes to show the potential hazards of this kind of energy. Um, the authors are against nuclear energy because there are so many complex environmental and economic variables involved, and they believe that it is not worth it. One unreliable reason for this source is that the authors are both professors of microbiology, but therefore they're not experts in nuclear energy whatsoever. So they're stepping out of their domain here, and they're not the best person people to go to for a good argument. The second unreliable reason is that the source itself, where the authors got their information from, is biased. It comes from a pamphlet that they got during their lecture titled Why a Future for the Nuclear Industry is Risky. That is biased because it focuses on the negatives of nuclear energy, doesn't focus on the positives. One reason why this source is reliable is because the article is on a national library, and in order for it to be on a national library, the information has to be accurate. So overall, even though the article is on a national library and has accurate information, it does omit many benefits and the other side of the topic of nuclear energy because it just focuses on the downsides of it. The second source is a YouTuber, and the video analyzes the multiple benefits and drawbacks of nuclear energy equally. Um, the creator only shows his opinion at the very end. At all other points in the video, he maintains a neutral tone and approach and displays both sides of the topic with equal magnitude. One reason why this YouTuber is reliable is because he's very well known for his accurate and educational content. He has nearly 25 million subscribers, and the video itself has almost 10 million views. Another reason why the source is reliable is because it uses professors from like Oxford, MIT, who are experts with nuclear science and engineering to input their knowledge in the script of the video. Another reason why this source is reliable is that the YouTuber equally evaluates both the benefits and downsides of nuclear energy. Um, at the end of the video, there is an opinion piece, but the opinion does not take away from any of the other unbiased parts of information. Um, During the opinion, he uses evidence and he doesn't discredit any of the information stated before. In conclusion, the source is reliable because of its professionalism and professional input from um, instructors at MIT and Oxford. Source three analyzes the use of nuclear energy by other countries and how those countries deal with the downsides of nuclear energy, like the extreme cost of building and maintaining these plants and how long it takes for these nuclear plants to become profitable. Um, the author does display some bias towards the end um, against nuclear energy because it does not like the large time commitment it takes for the nuclear power plants to become profitable. She feels like other forms of renewable energy can be used because they don't have that extreme time and investment. One reason why this source is reliable is that the author is a research professor at the Institute of Science and Technology at George Washington University. She's also on the board of the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists. Therefore, she has a professional background to make a accurate and compelling argument. One reason why this is unreliable is that there is some bias present against nuclear energy because the author disapproves of the great amount of time it takes for a nuclear power plant to become profitable. Another reason why this source is reliable is that the author uses professional language and cites multiple credible sources to support her points. Um, in fact, her citation page is very long. Um, in conclusion, even though the source does show some bias against nuclear energy, her expert, expertly crafted sources and well thought out language. In short, many consider nuclear energy to be just as concerning to the environment as fossil fuels are. This is due to the radioactive waste, the large amounts of resources needed to build and upkeep these facilities, and the high cost to purchase these resources. However, it is a very common understanding that nuclear energy is a viable alternative to fossil fuels because it doesn't produce a lot of greenhouse gases. It's independent from environmental variables. So, say something like weather would heavily affect a solar panel or a wind turbine, but nuclear energy is not affected by that. And it can run for a long time. Um, in general, nuclear energy is a very useful tool for moving away from fossil fuels and going towards a cleaner future.